Welcome back to Project Independence and You, Community Talk Radio on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. We are now in our second hour, which is the Talk of the Town segment, where Kristina Liu, our radio show producer extraordinaire, tells us all about what's going on in the town. But of course, before we do, we always have to talk about our fabulous guests. And these two were just wonderful. Jeff Stone, co-founder of Project Help, and Ellen Ritz, who's a nurse and a member of the board of Project Help, and president of NAMI CS Long Island. So I was thinking, it's like, even though we have, specialists and professionals who come on and the theme or the topic is the same, it's so interesting everybody has like a different
perspective, right? And the way they come at it. Yeah.
Their education, what their kind of focuses on, in education, and how that kind of shapes their expertise and what they do, It's just really good. They were just, great information, great organizations. And I know that we'll be seeing them again.
And I have to say, and it's just, there were so many thoughts obviously running through my head during the interview, because it's obviously a topic that our show and me and you in particular are very passionate about, and to raise awareness to it and to talk about these things. And I do love that because, so many, every week, somehow we dive into the mental health kind of component and from like a different angle. And I think it is so important in what you said, because, everyone comes at it from a different thing based upon like whatever their specialty is. And I think and you can kind of take from them, our listeners, what works for you. And that's really what I think is so important. And I think, having these organizations in our community and to really raise awareness to them is just so great. The fact that NAMI has so many wonderful programs, and a lot of them are virtual, which is great too. So you're able to kind of get to whenever, but from all different aspects. And I really love when I was talking to Ellen on the phone and preparing for the show, we were just going over and she was saying it's so important because for the caregiver or the family member to really understand how to deal with it, because listen, we've all been there. You can get frustrated, especially if you're caring for an older parent and they're not able to do something and you have your own life. We've all certainly been in situations like that, and it is easy to like lose patience, and I think to reach out to these organizations to kind of find out ways to cope for yourself and to better suit the person you're caring for is just so important. So it's just great to have, and I love that Project Help too really speaks to the youth population as well, so it's you kind of have runs the gamut of all the different areas in the town. So it's just, and Jeff is great, shout out to Jeff. I love I always and what I kept thinking back was, what's so cool about Project Independence, which I always love, even no matter how big we get, there's still this kind of grassroots underlying situation to it, and clearly a lot where we have 16,000 members, so people know about us, but I still think to this day, like word of mouth is so huge when it comes to Project Independence, and to reach out to your neighbor and say, hey, do you know that Project Independence has, ABCD, services? And it makes it more personal. And just Jeff in his conversation, because he's so involved in, especially in the Port Washington community.
Yes.
The amount of times that it came out that he met someone and told them about 311 and calling Project Independence and getting connected, those are our ambassadors. And I have to give a shout out to him, who has been a part of our advisory for so long, to do that, because that's how we do spread the word, and I think that was a great overall message of our first segment. If you missed our first segment, you could definitely check it out. I know if you're watching this on TV, they might not follow each other, but we're referring to our Project Help segment and mental health awareness. And, it's really about just spreading the word and reaching out to people and connecting, right? So these are things that, this simple thing. And I think about that all the time when you just smile at someone. Because I do that often. And I remember during COVID, especially, and I've said it before, we used to go for these walks with my brother around the neighborhood. There was this older woman that would just sit outside, and every day she would sit out there. And my brother, of course, had an adorable little dog, so that made it even more fun. And we would just walk by and we would smile, and she had said, it just makes my day. Like, and it was the littlest gesture, right? It's just us going for a walk around our neighborhood. We're not doing anything that crazy, but, and I always believe that. And I'm so hyper aware of that because I talk about it all the time with my family. It's like the littlest thing you do to someone, you have no idea the impact it's having. So it's just like these like little adjustments we can make in our life, and they don't say it's do good, feel good for a reason. I mean, that's the slogan. And I think it's so important for us all to, just remember that and
Right.
put that
Yeah,
into
and I like how our guests, and I think our theme too, Christina, is really one of, not morose. There
right.
are
Yes,
serious things that happen as we age, no doubt. I
of
mean,
course,
it's not
absolutely.
fun. There's a lot of things that are not fun about aging, and
Hmm.
most of it is, what happens to us, our
Right.
bodies, our friends, our family move away, So, but it's always about positive aging. Well,
Hmm.
okay, so maybe you can't do the things you used to do, or maybe you can't do them like you used to, but you still do them. You just
Right.
accept your limitations and have a good day,
Hmm.
like be happy, and or take on another hobby, or take on another journey, and I just like that, so many of our guests come on with that kind of attitude.
Exactly. Right.
Here's
Exactly. In
okay,
so many different aspects
right,
of, the spectrum of things. And I
right.
love that.
Mental health, wellness, it's like, okay, it's not always, let's get to that point. Let's figure it all out. And I loved how Ellen was, the CBT stuff is really good,
Hmm.
if you look into that a little bit more, and you know turning that negative into positive,
Yeah.
and or like you were saying, just completely think about something else, like
Yeah, because it was so interesting. Because I wish I could remember what it was. Because, like I said, I'm so flooded because clearly my algorithm has really clued into, the things that I'm looking up. But I remember thinking it was because I know that for my own self, because you can keep saying like, whatever it is I'm worried about, and you're just constantly thinking about it and thinking about it, and then you're like, on my brain, I always say is like constantly fighting with one another, and it's like, don't be thinking about that. You shouldn't be thinking about this. But all it's doing is just continuously, I'm still thinking about it, even though I'm yelling at myself to not be thinking about it. So it's like these, and so it was, and I've tried to consciously do that because my instinct is to say, oh, I just got to put this out of my head. I'm not going to think about it. But your brain's like, but you keep saying that, so now we're going to think about it.
right, right, right,
So it's just to actually replace that thought with something, and I'll just pull something, even it could be like the most trivial silly thing, but just to replace that thought, and I do find that it works, and I think that was important in our first segment too, is these things do take work, right? So you have to put them into practice, but I
right,
feel once you kind of get into the groove of putting into practice, it becomes part of your overall, habit and well-being. So
right,
it's
exactly.
certainly, it takes time. Anything, right, that you want to change takes time. But I think, as you said, Beck, we all know as you get older, life gets harder, right? It just feels like things get heavier, and there's so many different new things that you're facing that you might not have faced, as a younger person. But I do think, like, listen, you're still living, right? So to figure out a way to make it a little brighter or
Yeah,
better, why not try, So
yeah,
it's I think it's just it's great to raise awareness. And I always go back to, you know, us being with Project Independence for so long, we've kind of seen how mental health has really become a conversation more towards the forefront of stuff, and I remember our last month for our May advisory committee meeting, I had a speaker who did mental health. She was from the Mental Health Association, and there were so many questions for her. And I thought it was so great because in the past, a lot of people like, oh, they don't even want to touch that. It's not,
you wouldn't ask a question, they might
right.
listen,
They would be
and
embarrassed, right? They felt like it was shameful, on them if they were experiencing something, so they weren't as vocal. But people were really like sharing personal stuff,
right,
in
and
our advice.
writing down, like when they would give their phone number, they would write it down,
Yes,
and then a few years ago they wouldn't want anyone to
right.
see them writing
And
down even.
I had that moment at the advisor. I was like, this is really great that, here's a group of seniors, all varying ages,
Right,
and really just, diving into this and trying to find ways,
right,
to do it. So it was just I think that is special, and it's a good thing that like we are shifting kind of into that trajectory.
absolutely, that stigma,
Yeah.
uh, you
No,
know
and I love what you said too, Beck, about the terminology, because I do think terminology is huge, and too, because that really does take, and the substance misuse thing is something I'm really trying to replace in my vocabulary than substance abuse, because when you just think about misuse and abuse, the misuse is really just hits it harder, because it's not, people aren't necessarily going in like trying to abuse it and actively seeking to do that. It's you're misusing things, and especially when it comes to prescription medications and things like that, you're not necessarily, things happen fast, so it's really important to have those, and I like that, and the town of North Hempstead really actively uses that as well. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it was just good, and that's it's just such a pleasure. I was just sitting back saying, like, this is just so great, and like the bottom line is it could be helping, like, one person out there listening, and that's all that you need, that to you can adopt that into their, make a difference. So
Yeah. Yeah,
all
I know.
good.
And it brings me back to, when I teach yoga, it's to our Project Independence members, and I do a funny class. Like I do bring humor into it. I make them laugh, I get them to think about themselves, be present in the moment. And another important thing that we do, after we do the intention, where we set an intention, is we then dedicate the class to someone or something.
I love that.
And then I say, guess who that's for? It's for you. You're dedicating the class to someone or something that brings you joy, so that when you think about that person, it could be a pet,
Hmm.
during class, you're thinking about joy. So
Hmm.
you're doing that also for yourself. This is,
Yeah.
it's a very kind of personal thing. And there's so many people that, it's hard for them to do it.
Yeah. Right.
But once they kind of get into it and understand, I'm like, this is why you're here. This is why you come to this class. You're coming here for yourself,
Hmm.
and you're learning to move, and
Of
yeah,
course.
okay, your physical therapist or doctor said, hey, it'd be great if could take yoga.
Yeah.
But once you're there, you have to really kind of buy into it,
You
the
do,
whole.
and I think that's always so huge too, because I know for my own self, it's because when you do these kind of self-care things for you, it's like this, like you feel guilty or you feel like you're being selfish. It's like, so you have all these crazy thoughts in your head, when you say some things, but it's like, it's okay for something to be just about you in that moment. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't always correspond with, oh, I'm being selfish, I'm not thinking of others. I mean, that's the biggest problem. I always yell at my mom for that, because it's like she always had struggled throughout her entire life
Right. Mm-hmm.
of, like, if something was going good for herself, really being in that moment, because she felt bad that, another family member or whoever might not be in that same kind of situation. So you're like, you're not fully being present in that joy, and what I always think back to, that you had brought up a long time ago in one of the seminars you took, you know, and it goes hand in hand with being in the moment, is, even if you have something super you're looking forward to, like a
Right.
good thing, a happy thing that's coming up, so you're just like, oh, I can't wait for it to come. So you just want to, like, rush time and press, like, fast forward for that to happen. And I'm always there, there's always something I'm like, oh, like, really looking forward to it. But it's so important to really just, like, enjoy the day at hand, that's leading up to it, and to be, and that's like, I struggle, and I really try to actively do that more, is to, like, okay, like, I'm in this moment, I need to be present in the moment at hand, whatever it might be, whether negative or positive, because thinking too far ahead, certainly just gets you crazy. So I think it's just important. It's a work in progress, and
Yeah.
it's an evolving thing. And some days you're gonna have good days, and some days you're gonna have bad days, and that's what I always want people who are listening to it. It's, you're not gonna be, have it nailed down 24/7, So it's like, don't be too hard on yourself. But I think, just to adopt the littlest thing that we might have talked about, or our guest earlier talked about, to just put into your life, just, and say, can't hurt, right? We're not something crazy.
All right. Don't wish your life away. Great things
Yeah.
are happening today too. And that, that
Yeah.
whole kind of
It's true. It's all
thing.
things to think about, but great, great segment, of course. And if you missed our first segment, you could certainly, the week of next week, whatever that is, this week of the
Who are
19th,
we?
18th,
What week are we?
I don't even know what day it is. But you could always catch our previous episodes, because there's such great information about all different topics. I mean, last week we had a topic about just the benefits of gardening, and that was mental health and gardening, so it's like there was all these different aspects, and it was such a wonderful, wonderful segment. So if you miss any of those things, go to the Project Independence website or go to the WCWP YouTube page. Of course, you can watch us on North Hempstead TV. And we'd be happy. And if you think there's someone that could benefit from it, send the link around. I'd be happy to send the link to someone.
Yeah.
So I think, that's the overall message that we certainly talked about, is to kind of spread the word and spread education to people that it might help them. So definitely check that out. And next week we have a great segment on, also, I want people to know, we have Manda Cristal, who is the Financial Exploitation Abuse Program Coordinator over at Family and Children's Association, and the Senior Financial Counselor over there. And she's going to discuss the latest tips on frauds and scams and a lot of this artificial intelligence scams that we certainly have been hearing, more and more about. So I think that's going to be wonderful and informative as well. So definitely
Important stuff.
Absolutely. So really, really good stuff. I know we are going to be rapidly approaching the end of the segment, so I don't want to dive into anything too hard. But also coming up in July, we're kind of on a summer schedule, so we're going to have 2 new shows. We're going to have some repeated shows play also, but 2 of the new shows, we're going to have a doctor coming in to discuss back pain, which I think all of us can relate to, and it's from a great doctor over at Northwell Health will come on to do that.
Have we had him on before?
No, we
never.
time.
Oh, so this is a new kind of full back. Okay.
This is a new doctor that had reached out to come on the show. So definitely check that out. And then we're going to have Lisa Stern on also, who's going to, from Family and Children, who's going to talk about the Smart Van and all their wonderful programs. They have a lot of cool mental health stuff there too. So a lot of good stuff coming up. Stay tuned.
Excellent. Okay, we do have to take a quick break. You're listening to Project Independence and You, Talk of the Town segment, Community Talk Radio on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. We will be back after a quick break.
WCWP is your home for great music and great conversation. You'll find all that and more on WCWP.org. Listen live on the web, check out the lineup, subscribe to podcasts, and stay up to date on the latest station events. Get in touch with us and let us know if you like what you're hearing. And find out how you can support or get involved at the only community public radio station serving Nassau's North Shore. Plus, sign up to get a free bumper sticker. It's all online at WCWP.org.
And welcome back to Project Independence and You here on 80.1 FM and WCWP.org. I'm Kristina Liu, your producer / co-host today. I am co-hosting with Rebecca Miller, and we were just recapping our first hour of show, which was on Project Health and all things mental health and NAMI. Obviously, if you have missed that, you can certainly check that out at an earlier time. If you go to mynorthnyhtv.com, you could get all the information about the scheduling for that, or go to our Project Independence website or the WCWP YouTube page to see previous things. I just want to remind people, if there's any information that you have missed or from any segment, you can always call 516-869-6311. Or just call 311 and we can get you any phone numbers of the guests or any information. I have a lot of good hard copies of the material they've given. So you could always just call us and I'll be happy to send it out to you.
Welcome all right. Thank you.
So I just want to talk about all the great things coming up. Of course, I cannot believe we're like halfway through June, which means we are almost at July. And July.
That's true. Wait, it's the 16th?
Yeah. Don't know how that happened. Just woke up one day and I was like, wait, what is the date? But even more reason to be present in the moment, because it does go by pretty fast.
Exactly.
So coming up, of course, July means Fun Day Monday kickoff. So Fun Day Monday at North Hempstead Beach Park kicks off on July 10th with Stan and Edie. Beck, what else is to come at Fun Day Monday?
Let's see. We have, I don't have the flyer in front of me, but we've got a good amount of, we have the health fair that happens the third Monday. We have, we're doing our new Rat Pack. I think that's the fifth Monday.
August 14th is the Rat Pack.
And that's going to be Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, and Jerry Lewis. So it's going to be such a blast. We're all so excited. I mean, we have a lot of activities going on every day. So though Fun Day Monday itself is 10 to 2, we added a 9 a.m. line dancing class, and we still have the 10 a.m. line dancing class. It was just so popular. But we couldn't fit in another one under that same area after it. So we're doing a 9 a.m. class with Chelsea, who used to teach before COVID, and she's wonderful. So she'll be back. And then Jennifer, who's been teaching line dancing here at CGM, and also last year she taught line dancing.
Does anybody need to register for the exercise portion?
Nope.
So it doesn't matter. Okay, great.
No,
so
you just come to the park, you come to Fun Day Monday, hopefully you're a resident of the town and you're 60 or older. We also have 2 hours of pickleball where we have an instructor there. So it's open play, but he will also be teaching. And then after that, it's open until 2 o'clock. So you can, they may start closing it down around 1:30, but it's open play from 11 o'clock on. And we now also we decided to bring in our Tai Chi teacher. So we're doing Tai Chi at 11 a.m. And that's going to be with Cindy. She's our newest Tai Chi instructor. And she's very much focused on balance for health. And so it's really anyone in even if you've heard of Tai Chi and you're like, I would never know how to do that. She's wonderful. I took the class and she was great. So we've got a lot of activities going on. And of course, you can also enjoy the beach. We have the cafe.
So that's what I want to ask you. So the cafe will be fully open during Monday.
Same as last year.
Yes.
You can get your coffee. You can, we give out the cards, so everybody, you can, because everything's free, we can only offer 6 items per person, 2 oranges, that kind of a thing. So everything is pretty much the same. We do, however, anticipate a lot more people. We've had a lot of interest in it. And last year we did pretty well considering, we were still under some kind of mindful social distancing, and a lot of people wear masks, and of course you're welcome to do that. So we think that this year will bring back a lot more. We've had a lot of action with our buses. If you need transportation and you live in the town, all you need to do is call 311 and we can get you on one of the buses too.
Great. And that's I really encourage you to check it out. And of course, if it rains, the Thursday of that week will be the rain date, and also if it's too hot, so
right.
Monitor the weather and always call 311 if it looks a little precarious, certainly just to double check. So,
and I want to also mention, because last year, very popular one that we've had in the past, but for some reason they were just wonderful, is Dance Aloha. And we have, Dance Aloha comes in, and then after they're through about an hour, then we have Elvis. We kind of put that whole Hawaiian Elvis-y thing together. But last year, the Dance Aloha people got everybody up, and it was just such a great experience, really fun, and they were great. I'm looking forward. I think we have a really good lineup. Of course, Beatles. They're a Beatles tribute band. I heard. I was away, and I think, but I heard that they were wonderful, that everybody liked them. We were always kind of on the fence, like, should we do the Beatles or not? And I'm so glad we did. So
absolutely,
a lot of great stuff.
Good. So everyone, check it out. I encourage you to go down. Clearly, there's a little bit of something for everyone. So definitely, and it's a great place to meet people and to get out there. And what I love about North Hempstead Beach Park is it's not like an overwhelming beach, like some of the bigger beaches, are tougher. There's a lot of walking involved. This is like, and the parking is free. So you just come, you park, boom, on Fun Day Monday, and you don't have to walk so far to get to, where all the action is. So I just think it's a really, really beautiful location.
And plenty of tenting and shading available.
Yes.
So we've rented, I think, we rent such large tents, and we put the tables under there, so there's no direct hit from the sun. We have a couple of pavilions you could sit under, and of course the trees. Also, if you want to sit on the sand, or mostly on the grassy areas where all the trees are.
Yeah, great. Absolutely. So check it out. Mondays, July 10th kicks it off. Hopefully everyone listening will go check it out. And also at a lot of the local parks and beaches, North Hempstead put in these great little dispensers that are, 30 SPF sunscreen. So, if you forget your sunscreen that day, you can certainly go. I've seen them located at a bunch of the different parks around North Hempstead. So just a great little thing to remember. And in addition, that kind of goes hand in hand with that, the Town of North Hempstead, North Shore University Hospital, and Long Island Jewish Medical Center are presenting Wellness Wednesdays. This is going to kick off on July 10th, and that's a free skin cancer screening over at Clinton G. Martin Park from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then also in July is a Saving Lives training. It's July 19th, which is CPR and how to stop the bleed. That's at Whitney Pond Park Pool Deck at 12 p.m. And July 26th is Healthy Eating for the Family, and that's at the Yes We Can Community Center at 11 a.m.
One other thing I want to say, if I may, sorry, because
Yeah.
you had mentioned Northwell. Northwell has once again committed to be the primary silver
Oh, great.
sponsor for Fun Day Monday. And we're just going to talk a lot about them this summer and their participation and just such wonderful support of Project Independence. They'll be at the health fair, of course. I mean, we're going to have them on the radio show, and I believe they're going to get an article in the newsletter. So, great thank you to our wonderful partners, Northwell Health, and always, being there for the town, seniors, and the programs that we have. So we're grateful for that.
Great, absolutely.
Right.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Northwell. That's so wonderful. And so many of their wonderful speakers have recently been on our radio show about all different topics. We have such a good relationship with them, and those segments are just absolutely phenomenal and just jam-packed with so much information. So we just did a skin care one not that long ago, and that was so important. We were certainly all over here
Excellent.
taking a lot of notes. So it's just really, really important. And I love that North Hempstead really gets involved with all these kind of wellness partnering opportunities as well as, we do on our end. So
Right. Yeah.
and we just had our advisory committee meeting last Wednesday. And it was really, really wonderful. We had another partner, which is the Long Island Alzheimer's and Dementia Center. Melissa Katz came on to the advisory, and she gave such a great presentation because June is Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month. And she came on and gave a lot of great tips with about healthy living for your brain and body and different ways to, if you think you need help. And she was just great. And there were so many questions from all of our advisory members. So it's just, I want to remind people we have a little break. We do not have the advisory committee in July or August, but we are back September 13th. So please, if you are interested, you can call and register. It's still via Zoom, or we'll meet at Clinton G. Martin Park too. But it's a great, and it was wonderful because I saw a lot of new faces again, Beck. It's really great to see. Last month we were talking about that we noticed people that haven't been there, and this month was the same thing. So I'm really glad that people who are, new to it and just kind of want to find out about Project Independence are coming to our meeting. So
I'm wondering, do you find that our advisory members are bringing a friend, or people are just kind of showing up cold, or is it both?
It's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I actually noticed both, yesterday, because I saw, a couple of familiar faces, and they had some people who, I didn't see before, so they brought them in. But then I saw people who just came, on their own, and I'm glad because I think a lot of great information is getting out to all different people on our email newsletter, which is really exciting because since that is every month, we're able to kind of get it to more people. And just remind people, if you are interested, you have access to an email, and you don't need to be a senior. You can be a provider in the community or a caregiver or a grandchild, whatever it might be. You can just call 311 or 516-869-6311, and I will be happy to add you to our list because it's just it's such a great newsletter, just with so much information, not only on all the programs that we have going on, but stuff that the town has going on as well. So definitely check that out.
What else is
Which is very exciting, which I know a lot of people have been asking questions about, are the free summer events through the Parks Department in North Hempstead. So June and July, there's a bunch of different kind of concerts, or just there's even there was a skateboarding demo, which was really cool for the a lot of the younger kids or the older, whoever it is. I'm married to a former skateboarder himself, so I think any age you would certainly enjoy. So
Yeah,
they
I
kick
think
off.
us older community should stay away from the skateboard.
Yeah, well, this is a demo. You're not actually doing. You're just watching
Oh,
it.
okay. Okay, you can
It's a,
watch, but
yes,
don't get
you're just
on.
watching. So in June and July, June has the skate demo, as I had mentioned, at Manor Haven Beach Park. That's on June 21st at 4 p.m. Also on June 21st, which sounds great, right up your alley, Beck, is the Summer Solstice Sunset Yoga. They're going to be offering. You just bring your own mat to Manor Haven Beach Park. That's at 7:15 p.m. And then July 6th is Milagro, which is a Santana tribute band.
Yeah.
That's at Jerry Pond Park at 7 o'clock. July 8th is Touch of the 80s at North Hempstead Beach Park. And July 9th is Cold Spring Harbor, which is a Billy Joel tribute band. And that's over at North Hempstead Beach Park at 6 p.m.
And do you know who the bass player is in that band?
Oh,
It's our Bob Soul, who's also in Beat Likes and the
I
Street
love
Fighter
that.
band.
I like it, and I want everyone that's listening to realize Beck can give you all things tribute band. She has like a lot of like fun behind the scenes knowledge about all these like cover bands throughout Long Island. So
It's
I
like
like
a
that.
board game.
I like that.
He was in that, and that was, yeah.
I really like that. And then July 13th, the Chicklets, which is a tribute to female artists throughout the decades. That's going to be at Whitney Pond Park at 7 p.m. On July 15th is the Nassau Pop Symphony Orchestra. That's over at North Hempstead Beach Park. July 16th, we have the Led Zeppelin tribute band Misty Mountain at North Hempstead Beach Park. July 18th, the Beatlikes over at Clinton G. Martin Park, and they'll be at the pool deck over there. Back on July 20th is Half Step.
That's with many of my friends in Half Step, with Tom Sanfilippo, who's also played in who plays with Tiger Rose, who's played for the Town Spring Fest.
See, I like it. It's like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, the separation.
Right, exactly.
I really like that. Then we have July 23rd, Hometown Unknown, which is original rock band, and that's going to be at North Hempstead Beach Park. July 26th is Pump, which is an Aerosmith tribute band. That's at Jerry Pond Park. July 27th is MYXD Order, and that's over at Clark Botanic Garden. And July 30th is Arena Rock Tribute, and it's all different classic rock bands.
And also, just so you know, Misty Mountain has most of the musicians that used to play in Camelot that played a lot for us, played Spooky Walk and all kinds of things at the town.
Absolutely. Wow, cool. So that's a lot of the stuff that's going on in June and July. But on top of that, there's Shakespeare in the Park, and that starts June 24th. And this is the Merry Wives of Windsor. They will be performing, and that's at Clark Botanic Garden at 6 p.m. There's going to be a whole bunch of August concerts coming up. There's Wednesday Movies in the Park. That kicks off on July 12th, starting with Jurassic World Dominion, and that's at Clark Botanic Garden. So really, really great stuff. It runs the gamut of all kinds of different things that people can be interested in. So I really encourage people to check out. The concerts are free. Some venues, though, might have a parking fee. But you can always call 311 or 516-869-6311 to get information on the specifics of that. But I always think that's such a great thing. North Hempstead every year, I feel, finds new and exciting bands or programs to do at all the beautiful parks. So get out there and enjoy. We always say you can't be bored in North Hempstead in the summer. It's just
absolutely not.
It's just something you're not able to do. Also, I just want to remind people, which is the police department, the pops in the police department came to speak to a group last week, I believe it was. And they left really great information. So of course I took it, and I just wanted to remind people, it was a police alert that they sent out regarding phone scams. Nassau County residents are being financially targeted by individuals who are making false statements on the phone. Callers attempt to manipulate recipients into sending them money by pretending to be legitimate entities. Some examples of this are your kidnapped or arrested family members. I mean, we've certainly talked about that often on here, but it's really a concern that's growing within Nassau County. And legitimate agencies and companies will never ask you to send money to them via a gift card or an iTunes card. And which I thought was interesting, and I wanted to call awareness to. There's a lot of these scammers are asking for Home Depot gift cards, which I thought was interesting. I'm not exactly sure. Otto and I were trying to figure that out last week.
I could tell you why. I think what happens with Home Depot, if I'm not mistaken, you can buy something and return it. They may give you cash. Now, I'm not sure if that's actual or not, but
Interesting.
but that might be a
Maybe that's what
reason.
it is. Yeah.
Or they could
Nope.
just resell it. Like, if
Yeah,
you
who
give a
knows? Yeah, I mean,
$500 gift
whatever
card.
the reason is, do not, certainly a legitimate organization is not
Right.
going to.
That makes no sense, if you think about it.
And the police department said you immediately hang up if you experience this and call 911 to report it. Unfortunately, it's very hard to track down these particular scammers and stuff. But the one thing that we can do is to raise awareness about it and to have people educated.
Exactly.
Last week, Otto shared a story, and I just would like to share it again if someone didn't hear. He's very obviously savvy about scams, and his wife, and one that happens often to me that was happened to him, and his wife, about it was a package. You get a notification in your email saying, oh, you have a package. Oh, it's been delayed. It's been held up. Click here or call here, and they want to get your information. And listen, they're banking on the fact that you have a package waiting, and his wife was waiting for a package that didn't come and was about to put in information, and he was like, whoa, don't do that, so luckily it didn't, but it's so easy to. And I said to Otto, I said, I constantly get on my phone, I get text messages that'll say, UPS alert, your package is being held, your Amazon package is being, and listen, and we were laughing.
I have one right now. See? I have a UPS, USPS, the package has arrived at the warehouse and can't be delivered. Confirm your address and the link.
Right. And your thing, and it seems harmless to you, right? Because you're waiting for a package, and you say, okay, and I get so many, packages, obviously, that
and now what you do is just to say you can delete it, or you can delete and report it. So that's what I do. I just delete and report.
Perfect.
Just as you were speaking, that came over.
But it literally happens to me all the time. And when I'm on a lot of UPS and all different things where I get tracking updates. So I'm always getting texts from them. So, it's not that far fetched. You'd be like, wait, what? What is this? And it's easy to get, sucked into it. And that's what they're certainly preying on. So it's just really important to take a breath, right? Take a beat and make sure, and when, the email that, Otto's wife received, if you actually, it says UPS, but if you actually click on it, you'll see what the actual email address is. And it's a whole bunch of letters, and clearly it's not UPS, so you just have to be a little investigative, and not just immediately, click on something or be so willy-nilly to give your, information. So it's just a important little tip. And I just thought that it was great that the police department was coming out to senior groups to talk about that.
All right. Well, on that note, let's take a quick break. You're listening to Project Independence in You, of course, Talk of the Town, and we're on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org, and we'll be right back after a quick break.
So I get this call from my grandma, and she's like,
"What's a podcast, and how much does it cost?"
So I tell her, podcasts are like radio shows, but you can download them on any device and listen to them anywhere at any time, and they're free. And then she says,
"I see, but where can you find good ones?"
And I'm like, go to wcwp.org/podcast and check out the lineup of original shows, or download any podcast app on your phone or tablet and search for LIU Studios. And she's all like,
"Oh, that sounds easy."
And then she asked me what an app is.
LIU Studios podcasts, available on any podcast app. Those little button things on your phone screen. Just ask your grandkids.
And welcome back to Project Independence in You, Community Talk Radio. And of course, we're actually in our final segment of Talk of the Town. This show has gone by so fast. Of course, our guests were terrific, just amazing. Jeff Stone, who is the co-founder of Project Help, and Ellen Ritz, who's a nurse and a board member of Project Help, and also president of NAMI in CS, Long Island, New York. And, we just talked, we went all over, as always, guests coming on, talking a lot about mental health wellness, and things we can do, things to look out for, and it, like we were saying earlier, how we have this theme a lot, but it always takes its own journey, and you
Right,
know,
because we don't even mean it
perspective.
to be the theme, you know? It just kind of because and that's what I just think is so cool because so many of these different guests, you know, you might not think it's heading in that direction, but it somehow is incorporated into, you know, the mental health wellness space.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and I think that it's just it's great because it's and you know, that's last week's interview about with our the horticulturist over from the Cornell Cooperative Extension. It was such a great segment and it was filled with just a lot of wonderful tips and programs that they have there and you know it was all about boosting your mood and how you know that was one area so that might be an area that someone wants to dabble in to you know kind of to boost their mood and it's nice
Yeah.
outside so it's fun to do these kind of little stuff and more importantly Otto got a lot of tips for his tomato plant so
There you go. I can imagine.
you know, there was a lot of personal questions going on. I was asking about how to keep, you know, certain house plants alive, you know, so you never know where the segment might go. But neither here nor there. That is just, I want people to always check out. There is really a topic for everyone on this show. And if there's something that you really want to know about, please call and let me know. I'll be happy to find a guest to talk about that. I also want people to mark their calendars down. Um, the registration is not fully open yet. It's probably going to be open July 6th, the link should be. But over a, it's almost been a year now. I had scheduled this wonderful program that's going to be on Wednesday, September 6th at 9 a.m. at Clinton G. Martin Park. And it's through New York State Citizen Preparedness Corporation. And it's all about preparedness training program. It teaches residents to have the tools and resources to prepare for any type of disaster and to recover as quickly as possible. The training course will provide an introduction to responding to a natural or a man-made disaster. Participants will be advised on how to properly prepare for the disaster, including developing an emergency plan, stocking up on supplies. Each family that attends gets one preparedness kit. So it's a backpack that's filled with a lot of starter stuff. I have to say, I took this program when we first did it, which was, I don't even remember how many years ago now. But it was great. I still have my backpack. And I fill it up, you know, with new things each time because it's really great to have everything in one place and you learn such great information. You know, it's one of those things, you know, you think, you know, okay, I need my batteries, I need my flashlight, you know, blah, 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 all these things, but it's really great for them to be a refresher and to tell you different like things, you know, and new stuff comes up and different shelf lives and how much you should have. So I really encourage people to do this class. You have to register, obviously. So as we get closer, I will let you know the link information. And obviously you could always call 311 and I could write your name down and put you in for that. So just a great program, and I want everyone to mark it down on their calendars because September 6th will certainly seems like it'll be here pretty fast. So definitely check that out. But back also what the Manhasset is doing is Manhasset Alfresco is kicking off the summer season. So once again, the Town of North Hempstead supervisor Jennifer DeSena and council member Veronica Lurvy, they're partnering with Manhasset Chamber of Commerce to support Manhasset Alfresco, which kicked off on Sunday, June 4th. It's going to last till September 10th. But it's all about alfresco dining and shopping. It's closing off part of Plandone Road for pedestrian traffic only. So this way you're able to take advantage of the local shops and outdoor dining. So Sunday, June 4th, the South Plandome Road was closed. Then Sunday, June 25th, North Plandome Road. And it will go on from there. But it's a really great thing to get out into the community and kind of partake in that. I always love that about Long Island in the summers, you know, are these outdoor kind of eateries and festivals. And certainly I know Becca in Farmingdale, they always have like some really cool stuff like over the summer too. So definitely check that out. There's great stuff. And a lot of good dining. And then also in North Hempstead, it is time for the reopening of the pools. A lot of pools are opening this weekend, which is Father's Day weekend. So Clinton G. Martin Park, that's a special park district for only residents in that area only, but that opens on Sunday. There's a whole bunch of different fees depending on where you fall. So there's a lot of different discounts. Manor Haven Beach Park, that's also opens this weekend, Saturday, June 17th. Whitney Pond Park opens the following Saturday, June 24th. And Bunkie Reed Park opens June 24th as well. So if you are interested in any of this, there's an extensive different fee schedule. You can call 311 or 516-869-6311 to get all the information for that. So good stuff.
Really good. Lots of stuff.
A lot of stuff still going on, which is great. We take a break with some things, but some of our programs continue on throughout the summer. So
a lot of when with the fitness classes that just ended, a lot of people are, how come you don't do them during the summer? And the main reason is the facilities are used for summer camp and other summer activities. So we don't have the same kind of access that we have during the year, because obviously, especially in the morning and early afternoon, in the fall and the winter and even the spring, the kids are in school. So we have a lot more access. But when the kids are off for the summer, especially when they're going to the pool or week camp, we just don't have the kind of space to accommodate. We do also have, we always have had, continually have rather, the shows on North Hempstead television. You could watch 7 days a week, a bunch of different fitness classes. And also Fun Day Monday, we have a lot of activity going on. You've got your pickleball, you've got your Tai Chi, you've got your line dancing, and there's a lot of it. And there's also a beautiful boardwalk. And because we do Fun Day Monday pretty early, you could take a nice cool walk.
yeah.
10 a.m., 11 a.m. Once the sun gets a little hot, it's much, but there's a lot you can do. It's you could come and participate in every single thing we have, or you can just come with a friend and have a day, do whatever you want to do at the beach. And so there is activity. It's just we're unable to access the buildings that we have such great access to during not the summer, the rest of the year.
And then is it usually like the first or second week in September stuff kind of resumes, right? Like the exercise?
We do usually go sometime after Labor Day, a week or two, but there's a lot of holidays that we are respectful of and observe. So we don't, it's September and October can be
it gets tricky.
So we might start the first or second week, and then the third week we may not have classes. So it's been like that. But I'm gonna be mapping that all out. And we had a really successful season.
So successful,
classes.
absolutely.
It was really
Just incredible. And a shout out to you. I'll have to take this moment because the work that you put into the fitness program and the organizing, and it's a lot to manage, but you really, I have to say, this year was like a pretty smooth go at things. Everything was, there was a lot of little changes that needed to be made and stuff, and I think the response from the seniors, and you see them and just piling in, because at our building we have a lot of classes, and the fact that you actually teach, on top of that too, it's just you see the mood. It's really incredible, and I think it's just clearly evident by the amount of people. I mean, these classes like fill up really, really fast.
Yeah. There's a lot involved, and thank you for that, Kristina. But I have to also thank some of the staff that really have helped me a lot. Mary's been there. She's very detail oriented, and she actually helps a lot with the sign-ins and things like that. And Lisa, and who's also I drag her into the class to kind of help me. I use her as an example for some poses, and she's been there a lot. And Alexis, who's our newest employee, newly full time. We're just so happy to have her on board. She's been super helpful with that. And Julie and Kimberly, of course, help. There are times I can't get the sound going, and or I drag Julie in to be my little.
We're like an all hands on deck kind of department.
But where. It was a huge team effort, because there's a lot of registration going on, and I really couldn't have done, I could not have done that without everybody in the staff. And if I've left anybody out, I'm sorry. I'm sure you'll get back.
You know what it is, and I love that, because that's another thing that has really grown so much, from when we started the exercise. There was a couple exercise classes, but the momentum and the people, and like I see it firsthand when those calls come in to 311 call center. People want to know the schedule. They want to know this. It's really something that's so a part of their life. And also another way to watch it. If you have access to YouTube, the town's YouTube page has a great playlist of all the different exercise classes. So if you want to do it at home on your leisure too, if you're able to do that, that's another great thing to do. You could find your favorite instructor and do those classes, on YouTube. So.
And I'd love to give a shout out to the instructors. And I want everybody to know that we very carefully vet the instructors. Our instructors are all certified. They carry their own insurance, so liability insurance. Our town attorney is very stringent on who can teach and make sure that they qualify and have all the right documents and all that. So they're all wonderful, and the classes are great. And we have some returning instructors. We have new instructors. We have instructors that have been with us for a while. We lost some instructors to other commitments, but they're all terrific. And I mean, I haven't gotten a complaint about an instructor.
No, the only complaint ever is we want more.
Right.
That's really,
we want more. Right.
Yeah, that's really it. Which is just great because I love seeing just people of all different, spectrum of the aging, project independence member ages just coming in, and they're excited to just partake in, and they come, religiously every week. So really great. But you know what, if you want to get that fixed, and go to Fun Day Monday, and you can still have a little taste of that, direct exercise class. So
right, line dancing really is for everyone. It's the instructors tell you what to do, they show you what to do, you watch what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
I like to go in the opposite direction sometimes too. I don't know why. My left and rights are just not great. It's a fun time. It really is.
It is. It's really great. So I just I encourage people to partake in those things. Of course, we have a lot of different social groups. We have our social discussion group, which is via Zoom, which is Andrea Taylor, who is one of our fabulous social workers who facilitates that. So that's on Thursdays at 10:30 a.m. via Zoom. There's a new group that just started up called the Healing After Loss Support Group. There's a couple of sessions left in June, and that's Gina Etienne, who is another social worker, and it's all about grief and just responding to loss and the stages of grief. She's been having a really wonderful turnout. And this meets at Magnolia Gardens at 11:30 a.m. So certainly if there's something you feel like will be beneficial to you, to check that out. Our Golden Hearts Bingo and Blood Pressure Screening Program is also going to be meeting on Thursdays in June. And that's at 12 to 1 p.m. on Thursdays at the Roslyn Community Center. We also have the men's group that
now that group at Roslyn, does it? I thought that they go through the end of June.
They're going through the end of June, and they have, I believe, yes, that group. I don't think that group meets in July.
Right,
I know the men's group is going to continue meeting throughout July. But that group, I believe, due to, as we mentioned, different
the facility
permitting,
and use,
camping stuff, that is not. But I'll certainly have that information closer to people because I have it on one of these papers.
I'm pretty sure they are not meeting in July because of those reasons, because they have camp there.
But the men's group is, so that group meets at the Hillside Library.
Right.
And that meets on Fridays in June, but it's also virtual as well. So it's at 10:30 a.m. Great group. If you're a man in North Hempstead who's interested, come one, come all, because it's a really diverse group of men who talk about all kinds of topics. Which it's just
right. Didn't you recently facilitate that?
I did, and I've been telling people because I was so blown away by the fact that everyone had very, very different beliefs and opinions, but each person everyone got to talk. Nobody, it didn't get combative. Nobody, said horrible things to one another, which was really it was so refreshing to see, because we do not get to see that very often. So it was just a great example of communicating and listening to one another. And Krista, the social worker for that group, does a great job at facilitating that. So definitely, if you're interested, check that out. Our Blankets of Love group only has meets on June 20th, and then I think they're going to meet at the beach a couple of times.
Yeah.
But that's from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. at Clinton G. Martin Park. That group is just stellar. I mean, the amount of beautiful crocheted blankets and hats and baby blankets and different lap blankets, and they donate to such different and diverse agencies throughout Nassau County. So if you miss anything, once again, call the greatest number ever, 311 or 516-869-6311, and we can give you all the information that we talked about today.
Well, that's it. Kristina, another wonderful show.
Great show. And happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Father's Day. So you're listening to Project Independence in You, Community Talk Radio on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. As Kristina said, happy Father's Day to all, and we'll see you all next week. Have a great weekend.